Family. We're all a part of one, and it's something we don't get to choose. Not all families look the same, but that doesn't mean that one is better than the other. What makes a family great are the people in it, and this is a story about mine. My name is Tyler Ryder, and this was my life. Growing up, I thought 3 things in life would remain the same. Good friends would always be there, teachers would always give homework, and Jimmy Hinkle would always be my worst enemy.
What's up, losers?
I always figured that if the devil had a son, his name was Jimmy Hinkle.
What are you doing here, Jimmy? Oh, I'll ask my ball and decide maybe it was time for a new one. That's not your ball. There's your name on it. No. It's not your ball either. Finders keepers, nerd.
I was beaten, down for the count. Jimmy Hinkle was too big for me, so I did what anybody would do in my situation.
Mama!
I went to my mother.
I'm right here, Tyler. What's wrong?
I was frustrated, angry, and let it all out.
I'm tired. Tired. Jimmy Hinkle can't be stopped. I need your help. He took my ball. Just took it. Why does he even need a ball? Doesn't his dad buy him toys? And then he just threw me to the ground.
I think it's time we talk to his father.
Oh yeah, this was going to be awesome. Time to bring out the big guns. Dad versus dad, parent versus parent. Jimmy Hinkle would finally feel what it was like to meet his match. Before the big meeting, I had to get a bit of a pep talk from Ethan.
You're actually letting Jimmy Hinkle in your house. He'll contaminate everything like a disease. He has no soul. He's pure evil.
It wasn't much of a pep talk.
You're not gonna let Mr. Hinkle hurt you, right?
Tyler, don't worry. We're just going to talk it out. It's what grown-ups do.
Mr. Hinkle looked like the Hulk, Bigfoot, and Frankenstein all rolled into one.
Your son has been making it really hard on mine.
Looking at Mr. Hinkle, you could see where Jimmy got his charming personality from.
They're kids, Tim. Boys will be boys.
Tyler is 12. There's no reason for your son to make life miserable for mine or take his stuff.
My dad really let him have it. It was kind of cool to see.
I don't see what the problem is.
Your son took my son's basketball, and it's not the first time.
And then it got even better.
Did you take his things? Well, say you're sorry. Say it!
Sorry. It's cool.
Bob, I just want our boys to get along.
Oh, they will. I promise you that. Sorry to inconvenience you. Let's go, you little thief.
Looking at the way Jimmy Hinkle's dad talked to him, something changed. I started to feel bad for Jimmy Hinkle. And I never appreciated my dad more than I did at that moment.
Dude, come on. What? Why do you keep staring at Jimmy's house?
I met Jimmy's dad.
How was that?
He was really mean.
I'm telling you, evil just runs in that family, passed down in the blood forever.
This scared me. How could someone be evil? I mean, like Magneto, Lex Luthor, Darth Vader evil?
How do you get evil? Well, you're born that way, and then it just grows.
I never knew evil existed outside of movies and stuff. How did this happen in my own neighborhood? My dad's books weren't really helping. I needed to hit the source of all knowledge, the internet.
Mom, can I see the iPad?
It's over on the counter. Why?
I want to look up evil.
Okay. What? Why do you want to look up evil?
Did my mom not meet Jimmy Hinkle's dad?
Mom, Jimmy's crazy dad.
Right.
Ethan said evil is in the blood, passed down forever.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Sit down.
The infamous mom sit down. This usually meant she's going to tell me something really important.
I'm going to tell you something really important. I'm going to tell you a story about Pop Pop.
Whoa. Mom never talked about Pop Pop. He died when I was little, so I knew him only through pictures.
When I was little, Pop Pop was very mean, and he used to yell and scream all the time.
He was evil too?
No, it's not like that. He was mean, but not evil. Do you think I'm mean?
Fact. Mom was the best mom ever. Gold star, A++, amazing.
You're like awesome, Mom.
Thank you, Tyler.
I meant it, but hey, if I could get a few brownie points. Or a plate of actual brownies, even better.
But even though Pop Pop was mean, I knew that when I would grow up, I would be the best mom that I could be. I found God and He changed my life.
How?
That's what knowing God does. It just changes your entire life. But even though your Pop Pop was very mean, it didn't mean when I grew up I would have to be.
So Jimmy Hinkle can change?
We all can. Your Pop Pop did. He ended up giving his life to God too. God's bigger than any attitude. So, why don't you try being nice to Jimmy the next time you see him? Because he has it really hard.
I'm glad you changed, Mom, and are not evil.
Me too.
I didn't know what would happen, but I was going to be nice to Jimmy Hinkle, even if it killed me.
No, I can't believe you're gonna talk to him. He's pure evil. You know, good guys never talk to bad guys.
There's good in him. I can feel it.
Ethan wasn't any help, so I was clearly on my own.
Here's your ball, nerd.
If Jimmy Hinkle wasn't evil, he had a bad way of showing it.
Listen, Jimmy. Every day you just come by and beat me up. Why?
Because it's fun.
I think you should stay and play with us.
Really? Play with you? All right. Truce.
We ended up playing until dinner time. Jimmy eventually stopped beating me up, and I like to think that I maybe helped him walk away from the dark side. I said eventually. Change doesn't happen overnight.
All right, I know you guys, I know your future is so far off and you have so much going on in your life right now and that's all you're really focused on, but I want you to do something for a minute. We're just gonna get a little crazy. We're gonna all just come along with me on this journey. We're gonna jump into a time machine, okay? Are you with me so far? And we're gonna set it to the future. You ready? Everybody come on, get into the time machine. All right, for real though, like close your eyes. Seriously, close your eyes right now, everybody. Bam. We're in the future, okay? With keeping your eyes closed. With your eyes still closed, I want you to envision what your family will look like when you're older. Now, I'm not talking about the family you have right now, your mom and your dad and your siblings. I'm talking about when you're older, when you're the mom or the dad and you have kids yourself. When you think of that family, do you picture a family who's yelling and screaming at each other and kids who don't listen? Are you picturing a family that's just in like chaos and out of control? Or do you picture a family that loves each other, that have fun together, that spend time together? Okay, open your eyes. Everybody open your eyes. What you need to know is that your family right now will define who you are now and who you'll become in the future. So let's see how this all plays out in this week's episode of Life of Tyler. Well, this week we saw a little bit more into Jimmy Hinkle's story. It seemed like he came from such a rough family. It was obvious that his dad was really tough on him and he really didn't treat him the best. Now, Tyler, on the other hand, comes from this really good family and he seems to have a great relationship with both his parents, his mom and his dad. And both Tyler and Jimmy, they are products of their environment. And what I mean by that is who they are and who they'll become are defined by the family situations that they're both in now. Jimmy Hinkle lets his tough family situations determine who he is, which is a bully, right? So let me ask you a question. Do you believe that we act out of what our family situation is like? What I'm trying to say is, do you believe bad kids come from bad families and good kids come from good families? What do you think about that? Well, here's the answer. Only if we let it. Our families absolutely do define who we become, both positively and negatively. But we choose to let it determine how we act. If you come from a tough family situation, you have a choice to make. You can either choose to let it impact you negatively, or you can find positive examples of who and how to become who God wants you to be. But here's the thing. It's not just enough to be like, I'll never be like my mom because she's so blah, blah, blah. Or I'll never be like my dad because all he does is yell at us. Or I'll never be like my siblings. It's not good enough to just say we'll never be those things, because we become and act out what we know and what's familiar to us. In order to become who we need to be, we need to find positive examples. When I was a freshman in college, I had this psychology professor. He told us this story, this analogy. Now, I know none of you are even close to driving yet, but take this a bit of advice, all right? So when you drive down the street, picture this with me. You're driving down the street and it's totally dark out and there's a car coming at you from the other direction, okay? And now this car has its high beams on, you know, like those really big bright lights coming at you. Well, what we normally do is we kind of look at that car and it's like, turn off your lights, and we're just staring at it like, oh, they have their lights on. But what's happening when you're looking at that car is that internally you're actually subconsciously steering into that car coming in that direction. So what you're supposed to do when a car's coming with their bright lights on is that you're supposed to look the other direction, down at the lines on the other side of the road. And so what that whole point means is that when we have this family situation that's going on, and that's what we're staring at, that's what we're looking at, it's so easy to go right into that direction and become those things. And so if your situations are tough, here's what's important to remember. You need to find the lines on the other side of the road. You need to find those examples of what you're looking for so that you can see those and become those and steer in those directions. Now, I didn't grow up in a Christian home, but when I was a teenager, I actually became a Christian. But since I didn't have that Christian home, I had to find examples of what Christian families look like. I'd go hang out with my friends whose families were Christians, and I saw what it looked like to live. And now I know how to live out today what it looks like to be a Christian. If you come from a great family, make sure that you pay attention to what you love so much about your family. And be those things to other people. Let it shape and mold who you become. Proverbs 22:6 says this, direct your children onto the right path, and when they're older, they will never leave it. Now, I know you're probably like, wait, what does that have to do with me? I'm the kid, I'm not the parent here. But here's what you need to know. Know this passage, it's related to parents, but I'm telling you this, that you can choose to live out the right path, regardless of what your family looks like, whatever situations you find yourself in. You can be the one to determine how you act towards others now and who you'll become in your future. So seek out the right path, the godly path, so that you can be who God intended you to be right now, and so that you will continue to be who He wants you to be for your future.